G'day guys, we're continuing on from our introduction to trigonometry and we're now looking at how to find side lengths using trigonometry. Okay, so an unknown side length can be found if we are given one other side length and one angle within the triangle. Okay, so like this example we've got here. Jump straight on into it. What we've got is, you can see we've got one side length and the angle within the triangle, and we're trying to solve K. So what we need to do, and like we practiced in the first video, we need to first label our triangle. Okay, we always need to label our triangle to know that we get our information correct. Across from our 90 degrees, that's our hypotenuse. Across from our 32 degrees, that's our opposite because that's our given angle. And the third one is our adjacent. Okay, now what we need to do here, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing, is we need to work out which ratio we're going to use. And to do that, we need to look at our H, O, and A and look at which two have values or an unknown. So we know we're going to use H because we've got 20 there. Okay, so H is going to be it. We can't use O because there's absolutely no value or an unknown. So we're going to use A. Okay, so we're going to use H and A because both of those have values. Now, to decide which one we're going to use, we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. Now, which one has A and H? Is COS. Okay, because that has A and H here. So you need to label your triangle and then determine which trigonometric ratio you are going to use. And we are using COS because we've got the hypotenuse and the adjacent. All right. So all we have to do is, I know that we worked with theta on our last video, but now we're going to actually use a real numerical value for our angle, which is 32 degrees. We've decided to use COS because we've got adjacent and hypotenuse. So you're going to write it out like this. Cos 32 degrees equals, now it is adjacent over hypotenuse, so it is over 20, it is K over 20. Okay, so you need to label your triangle, determine which ratio to use, and then put it into a formula looking like this. So cos 32 degrees, because that's our given, equals adjacent over hypotenuse, or whatever the whichever ratio it is you decide to use. Okay, so we used cos, so it is A over H. We'll do another example, and I'll quickly draw it down here. We've got, there we go. Quickly zoom in on this one a little bit. So we've got another triangle that will be giving us 64 degrees there. It is 35 here. 35, and then our unknown is 8 again. Okay. So, like we just did, the first thing we need to do is we need to label our triangle. Opposite our 90 degree, that's our hypotenuse. Opposite our angle, that's our opposite. And then our last one is our adjacent. Okay, so we need to determine which ones we're going to use. We don't have a value for opposite at all. We do have a value for our hypotenuse, for our H, and we do have a value for our A. So again, we're going to use A and H, which is cos again. Okay, so it's going to be written like this: cos 64 degrees now equals A over H. So our adjacent is K, our H is 35. So that's all we need to do to start off with, okay, to getting it to this point when we actually need to work out an unknown side length. the first step we need to do is label our triangle, decide on the ratio using SOHCAHTOA, and we decide on that ratio by seeing which two sides are being used, whether it's your hypotenuse and your adjacent and your opposite, or your hypotenuse and your opposite. That will determine whether you use SOHCAH or TOA. Once you've determined that, all you need to do is put it into this formula here. So you're going to do cos or tan or sin, the angle you've been given, and then it's either going to be hypotenuse over whatever the ratio tells you to do. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is actually solve this now. So I'll move down a little bit, and we'll go from here. So solving. Solving unknown. Okay, so I'm going to write solving unknown when, excuse me, unknown is numerator. Now that just means solving unknown when it is a numerator is when our unknown, like we've done in our examples, is on the top. So it's k over something or x over something or whatever the unknown is over a value. Okay, solving unknown when the unknown is a numerator. And we'll go through and do this now. I'm going to quickly draw another triangle. What have I got here? Perfect. Put the values in. We've got x, we've got 18, and in our triangle we have 50 degrees. So that's that angle there. Okay, just like normal, we need to label our triangle. 2 seconds, calculator is going to need that. We're going to label our triangle. How do we label our triangle? Opposite our 90 degrees is H. Okay, opposite our angle is O, which is there. That's O. And then the third one is our adjacent. So we need to determine which ratio we're going to use. Which two sides have values? O has a value and A has a value. O and A is 10. Okay, because it's TOA. If you have a look up here, TOA is O over A. So we're going to do tan tan 50 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. So it becomes x over 18. Okay, so this is where we're moving on from what we just did in explaining it. All we have to do to solve this is to get x by itself. Okay, so we want our equation to look like tan equals x. So none, get rid of this divided by 18 or over 18. How do we get rid of divided by 18? Well, the opposite of dividing by 18 is timesing by 18. Because that cancels that out. Okay, so that can cancel that out. If we do times 18 on the right side of our equal sign, we have to do times 18 on the left side as well. Okay, so an easy way to do it, tan 50 degrees equals x over 18. What we have to do is bring this 18 over here and multiply it. So the 18 becomes 18 times tan 50. Okay, so that then becomes 18 times tan 50 equals x. All you have to do on your green calculator, this one here, is put that in. So 18 times, you press our tan button. So this one, tan 50, press equals. So x ends up equaling 21.45. Okay, so when our unknown is on top, like we have here, it's when it's our numerator. All you have to do is bring your denominator across to in front of your trigonometric ratio and multiply it. Okay, so it's 18 times tan 50 gets you 21.45. All right, we will do one more example and I'll quickly grab one. Okay, let me write this down. 38, 42, x. Okay, we'll do one more example. So again, this is only when our unknown is our numerator. Okay, we've got that length is 42. Our angle is 38. 38 degrees. And our unknown is x. Same thing, let's label our triangle. You've got our hypotenuse, which is opposite the right angle, and then we have the opposite of our angle, which is O, and that leaves us with adjacent on this side. We're going to use H and O, so that would be so katoa, which is sine or sin. So sin 38 equals x over 42, because it is opposite over hypotenuse. Again, all we need to do to solve this is bring this 42 to this side and multiply. So it becomes 42 times sin 38 degrees equals, again on your calculator, 42 times, press the sin button, 38 equals 25 equals x. So x equals 25.86. Okay, so clarifying just quickly, if our unknown is our numerator, so it's on the top, all you need to do is bring the denominator across in front of our ratio and multiply it. And that is how you solve for the unknown when it is the numerator. So that is your unknown side is the numerator. Thank you guys.